we go.
Hello everyone, this is John with Money on the Floor Currency Trader. I'm here with my famous In and Out EA. Lots of people have been buying it, but I've been getting questions on exactly what time frames to use it on and what pairs to use it on and how do I use it. So let's get into that a little bit. Basically, we have a couple different ones. We have this one here, which we have our trend. You can either have like a scalping EA. You can either have it on a small, or I have it set up on a template for a regular scalp. Now the only difference is the trailing stop. We can take a look at that real quick. So basically the trailing stop is 55.50, and that is for the currency pairs. If it was for gold, I'd use it 100, 100. And if I was going to do it a really small one, it'd still be 55.50. So I'm looking for really small scalps. Still about the same stop loss and take profit. Doesn't really matter. You're never going to get there. So let's see how we can look at this here. So basically what happens is you want to look at a pair that's got enough distance in between arrows. So like people say, can I trade it on euro dollar 15 minute? Let's take a look. If you got into this trade, you went down here and got up to that one, you'd be a break even trade. But this one over here, you would have won. That one over there, you would have won. This one, you would have won. All these other ones, you would have won. Now this one here, if it got out at the top, it would have won. But since you knew this was probably a topping point right here, because this is where it hit resistance, you should have gotten out. Especially when you started, it would automatically take you out with this bar. It'll get you in with the green bar, take you out the red bar. So it still would have got you out. It would have got you out in profit. So that's the main thing. You would have only lost this one trade. Now let's go down to a 5-minute chart. Now, 5-minute chart might look a little bit different. See how these are much closer? You're guaranteed to lose all of these, most likely. So even in here, if you got into a buy here and it pulled back down, went up, and you went up, came back down, you probably got break even, a little bit of profit. Now this one here, you would have made money. That one you would have made money. That one you would have lost because they're too close together. So as soon as you see there's a couple close together, it's not worth trading it on that pair unless you move up the time frame. Now in 1 minute, I found that the arrows come after the 1 minute bar, so they won't help you at all in 1 minute. So don't even think about it on a 1 minute unless you go with a really big number, which is very few arrows, but it's just not worth it. So from 5 on up, my favorite's going to be the 15. Now remember, when you're trading this, you can use it all the way up to the hour chart, daily chart. Doesn't really matter. It's just I can't hold a trade that long. I can't hold a trade 2 days. I mean, that's crazy. Each candle's a day chart coming down. If you can do that, it works great. I can't do it. Let's take a look at 4 hour. 4 hours more possible. You got still a couple days in here going up. You know, 1 full day coming down. So it does work fine. I can't personally hold it that long, but if we go down to a 1 hour chart, this is where it starts getting holdable. So except I for myself, I like a 15-minute chart, 15:30, but still a 1 hour is very good. All these arrows made money. Even the small ones would have probably made money, and that's what's good about this. Now gold's a little bit different. Gold, if we look, you're going to have bigger areas in between these. So when I was running these on a small scalp, and you can see over here the other day I killed it, so I did really well. But on currency pairs, it does really good too. Now this is our trending one. This is our animal, and this only finds the best trend. So we can take this down. Right now it's on a 1 hour chart. You can see right here it had an arrow. That would have been a great trade. It would have went out. If you had it on break even, it would have went all the way to the top and got out. If you had it on trail, a big trail, probably would have got halfway up somewhere in here and got out, which is still good. Now if you're going to run these, you might want to run one with a trail, one with a break even, and be happy with that. So that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is just use one with a trail, get your money, and maybe like I'm doing is like on gold, I'm using one over here with a trail. This here I'm using the animal, then plus I'm using the small scalp, so I'm getting both of them. So, but the animal didn't do much because we were all sideways the whole day. For this whole day we were sideways. This is where the scalp would have came into play, and that's why it's so important to use it. Now on these here, like the currency pairs, here's a 1 hour chart. Now let's say we want to look for trades. You can go ahead and look for trades in the 1 hour, even the 30-minute, and that's fine. Let's take a look at the 30-minute here real quick. Still a lot of spaces in between arrows. Now if you can see here, what I like doing is looking at the beginning of, like this is Tokyo. There's the beginning 30-minute chart, says we're going down. So now you could have gone to any time frame and chased that down. And then when you got to London, we got one trade that said we're going up. New York didn't give one because of the same trade going up, but late New York, it gave one going down. So let's look at this late trade here going down. If you would have saw this arrow pop up late, you could have went and traded that by just putting an arrow right here, put a trend line, excuse me. Let's get that right over spot. And you say, okay, there's the arrow popped up. That means we're looking for sells in this point. Now you can go down to your 15-minute. which gave you no arrow, but it gave you a double top. And you said, oh, this is a great trade. We're going to probably take it down to where it's been down here before, which is right in here. So if you know structure, you know support and resistance, you know this is probably where it's going. So you would have traded it from this point all the way down to that and been done. And I did. I made a killing on that trade coming down. I think I made about $1,000 on just that trade alone. And I posted that trade too, which is really good. And all these we posted the other day. So that's how I like using it. Now the other thing you can do is you can even take it to a 5-minute chart. So let's take a look at that. As long as you got the higher time frame coinciding, because you had a top, a double top, you didn't get it here. So on a 5-minute, the arrow was not till over here, but you know that if you would have taken the trade anytime after this line, you would have done fine because the higher time frame coordinated with what you're doing. So let's say there's the arrow on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour says it's right over here. So 30-minute was a little bit earlier. The 1 hour was right here. So let's take a look at that. So from the 1 hour, let's take it down to the 30. 30 says it's already happened, but it's still the best time to get in is where it's at. And you take it down to the 15. Still looks good. Take it down to the 5, and you would have a really good look at it. And you would take that trade. I would probably load up on that. Take it right down to the structure, hoping it would go down even deeper, which I thought it was later on. It did not. It just went sideways. But you could have put a heavy trade size in this and made a lot of money when you know that you have the higher time frame and the smaller time frame telling you the same thing. So that's how I like using it. So that's the best way of doing it. Just remember, you want distance in between these arrows. But the main thing is like how I like looking at it is on the 15-minute to 30. So let's take a look at the 15. Is I'm looking for the first trade in Tokyo. I'm looking for the first trade in London. I'm looking for the first trade in Euro dollar, which is New York right here, coming down. Now this one had already set up, so I'd probably hold on to that. Coming up, but what I would have probably done is went down to the 5-minute to catch it, because I know we're going up from London. We're probably going to keep going up. So from there, if I went down, I'd probably find an arrow down there. And if we went down, there's New York. Yep, we have one right here. It says to get in at this point, and up you went. You would have wrote all this up. So you had actually a trade come down, a trade come up, did very well. Now the only problem with the 5-minute chart is it would have exited you on that arrow, so it would have been done. But it would have taken a sell and lost on this one here. But you would have taken a buy and made money on all the rest. But the higher time frames, like the 15, you would have made much more money. That's why I like using it, but you didn't have an arrow here. So how we can compensate for that is we see we had an arrow here, went up, pulled back down into structure, which you can see left going all the way across. I mean, this thing went all the way back here, so you should have known that this was here. If not, you need to learn about structure, maybe get the boot camp, and you'd know that you had strong structure here, so you went up, retested. Even though there was no arrow here, you go ahead and take a buy trade anyway. The robot would have ran it up to that arrow and got you out. It would have worked out really good. Now you could have either taken the sell or left it alone, went back up, and then with a higher time frame, you would have saw that you had a 30-minute, that you had an arrow right there, and you could have jumped on that one right there. So I wouldn't trade on the 30 because sometimes it doesn't. You don't see all the little things going on, but it gave you the okay that it was time to trade it. So then you can go down to the 15 and go ahead and jump in. Oh, red candle, double top. I'm in. I'm going. I'd go with a heavier trade because I know I want to make my money coming back down to that same structure because we've been going up and down the whole day. It was very easy to understand. So hopefully this helps you understand how you use it. So I like using the scalp with the animal for me on the gold, how it works best for me. But this I have been using on Oanda for the currency pairs, works out fine too. So it works out great, but use the higher time frame to help you really, even if you see it on the 15, jump up to the higher, make sure the higher one says it's okay. If the higher one doesn't, concur with what you're doing on the smaller time frame, I won't know if I'd be messing with it. You're probably wasting your time and money. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Let's make money in the markets. Any other questions, get back to me. It's not a problem. And you already know how to use all the buttons, so that's all in there. These all work on the robot. So anything you take on here, the robot will run it. It has a reversal button on this one, which the other ones did not, because the idea was it was in, out. But let's say you got in and you didn't get into that trade. You can just reverse it. Now you're in it. So you went here to there. And you can also do this manually just by turning off the robot, and then you can just use the reverse button. You can just say, oh, arrow, take a buy right here. When you get up to the top, arrow, sell. Get to the bottom, arrow, reverse. You just reverse it yourself. Works out great too. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.